What's going on, everybody? My name is Ben, and welcome back to another episode here on Ben Builds. We're back with the Ventura, and this is episode 13, where we are going to focus on decals. That's it, just the decals today. So first off, last episode, we overcoated the entire aircraft in a nice thick coat of Future. Everything is very glossy. We are ready for decals. So for that, today, we're going to be cutting out the decals, then applying them onto the aircraft, and then overcoating with a nice coat of Future again, just to seal them all in, and we should be good to go. Now, the decals themselves are looking very, very clean. Everything's beautifully printed. We do have a little bit of issue here with the tentacles. Now, the national insignias on the tentacles, they actually come as one decal. So we want to use those. We have to go ahead and cut out the actual insignia from the tentacles. Not too difficult, just a little annoying, because I did actually paint those on, so we don't even need those parts. I also am a little bit concerned with the green of the tentacles showing through the white part on the insignia, especially on this side right here. I don't know if that's going to be a thing, but just in case it is, we might have to go ahead and airbrush that area with white so we can get that decal on. But we're not going to jump to conclusions. Let's go ahead and start off by cutting out the decals and seeing how it goes. All right, everything is nicely cut out. We have our water all set aside. We've got our micro saw, our micro set. We have some brushes. We have some tweezers. We have some Q-tips. We have, of course, our hobby knife. We are ready to go ahead and start applying all the decals down to the Ventura. Now, my typical decal system is, as it is in any other video I've done, where we're going to start with a coat of micro set. Once that's on, then we will go ahead and place the decal. Then we're going to come back with some micro saw, cover over the decal with micro saw, dab up into the excess that ends up on the plastic, let it dry, overcoat with Future. So that's the plan. Like I said, we have everything cut out. We are ready to go ahead and dive in on this. So fingers crossed, this goes well. Let's start off with the wings, work our way across, and then from the nose to the tail. So it should be pretty decent. Let's get this cracking. And man, I love this stage of the build. So let's do it. Decals are on. She is looking good. Honestly, I love the stage of model building. It just brings so much life and character to the build. Getting those decals on, absolutely fantastic. So I do want to point out one thing here. This little black dot right here. I initially thought that that was some form of nose art, like it was an 8-ball or something like that. But the more I looked into it, the more research I did as I was building the Ventura, I realized that that's actually a window. And that little circle in the center, what I thought was an 8-ball, is actually a ball and socket joint for a machine gun. Because the references that I found show that. They also show another gun emplacement on the other side on that window as well. So if I had been thinking ahead, I would have actually opened that up and added it myself. This here on that window right there on this other side, that also shows a ball and socket joint on some of my references. So this is, I think, a window. And that actually, well, that's just one of those things. So like I said, if I had had my smarts about me, if I had realized what that was, I would have opened that up and I would have placed a little bit of styrene in there that would have been clear. That would have been a really, really cool effect to do. As it is now, though, I didn't do that. I don't want to ruin the finish. I don't want to mar it up. So we're just going to go ahead and we put on the decal. It's fine. Honestly, it's not really that crazy. So I think we're good with the decal. Also, one thing I did notice is the placement of the windows actually inhibit the side markings lining up. If you notice here, this one side is a little bit farther forward than the left side. That's a little strange to me. I figured they would line up evenly, but no, according to my instructions, they don't. So it's not a mistake. Apparently that's just how it is. So with all the decals on, we put the wings together here, and this thing looks beautiful. Though we do have to go ahead and overcoat the areas again with Future, just to make sure that we don't damage the decals when we start to weather. So that's the next step. We're just going to get out our airbrush. We're going to get out the Future. Go ahead and airbrush a nice layer over each of these decals. We might have to airbrush a few other areas that are not as glossy as I would like before I go ahead and start weathering up for the next episode. Then of course we have to add our little odds and ends like the propellers and the bombs and the rear turret and the top turret. We also have to add in the little wiring and all of the little fidgety parts, and then we'll string up some easy line cable and we'll be looking pretty decent. So let's go ahead and dive right on in on that Future, get these decals all nicely sealed up. All right, everybody, the decals are sealed up. We are looking fine. This model is really coming together. We probably have maybe one more episode left before we can call this one quits. So let's go ahead and call it for tonight. Next episode, we're going to come on back, get some weathering going, get some of the fidgety parts on. So until next episode, everybody, you guys know the drill. Go out, get yourself some bench time, have some fun, build something cool. And we'll see you back here next week on episode 14 of the PV-1 Ventura. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you soon.